Good morning, everyone. How's everyone doing this morning? Woo, there we go. All right, my name is Daniel Tkacik. I'm the Executive Director here at the Wilton E. Scott Institute for Energy Innovation. And along with our Director, Costa Samaras, our Associate Director, Valerie Karplus, and our amazing Scott Institute team, we would like to welcome you to what I just remembered last night as I was assembling my notes. This is the 10th Carnegie Mellon University Energy Week. There we go. Energy Week brings together folks from around the region and nationally to share new ideas, form new partnerships, and find new ways of working together to solve some of the biggest challenges in energy that we face today. So today is day 3 of Energy Week, and yesterday we had an amazing investor day with an agenda jam-packed with investor keynotes, panels, and the Energy and Clean Tech Startup Pitch Showcase, which if you were around yesterday, that was literally thrilling. But I was so inspired. I might start a company tomorrow. We'll see. It might take some work. So if you're new to the Scott Institute, we serve as Carnegie Mellon's university-wide hub for all things energy. We have over 180 different faculty affiliates all across campus in our world-renowned engineering and policy department, engineering, architecture, social and decision sciences, computer science, economics, physics, chemistry. I could go on. As you all know, energy is such a very, very interdisciplinary topic, and it's up to the Scott Institute to make sure that we're bringing folks together from all across campus to collaborate to help solve those energy problems. The Scott Institute acts as a launchpad for our faculty and students to try new things and to grow new initiatives. And often those ideas translate into energy and clean tech companies, many of which you heard from yesterday, which is truly inspiring to see what they are doing in our region and across the nation. So to help drive the types of research and innovation that lead to real impact, the Scott Institute provides financial support for our community. So you can think of us as kind of a non-equity angel investor in our faculty, staff, and students to seed new research projects and new entrepreneurship endeavors. We give out research seed awards for high-risk, high-reward projects each year, and you're going to hear, we're going to announce the winners of this year's seed awards, research seed awards, this afternoon at the conclusion of today's programming. We also provide similar support for our entrepreneurs. If you're an entrepreneur in the room, you know that there are many, many valleys of death facing between you and the actual launch of a company. We are here to help support you and to help you along your way. It takes a village to create a company, and we are part of that village, and we're proud for it. Now, we have a very exciting agenda lined up for you all today, but before we kick things off, I'd like to acknowledge at least 4 very important sets of people. Today's event, this whole week's event would not have happened without these 4 groups. First, a tremendous thank you, a huge thank you to my colleagues in the Scott Institute staff for putting in a humongous amount of work to make what we believe is the best Energy Week yet, number 10. Second, I'd like to thank all of our speakers we hear from today. Each and every single one of you was handpicked for a very, very specific reason. And that is you hold a very, very niche, unique, but very important set of knowledge to share with us all and to help form new partnerships that help drive this energy transition forward. Second to last, I, of course, have to give a huge thank you to our sponsors this year. Your support for Energy Week makes this event possible. Your support makes this event free and open to the entire public. And from my perspective, looking across the nation, these kinds of conferences are rare, where it's completely free, it's open to anybody, and thanks to our sponsors for making that happen. So big thanks to Anthropic, Duquesne Light Company, Train Technologies, Emerson Power and Water Solutions, the Resilient Energy and Technology Infrastructure Consortium, Vistra, EOS Energy Enterprises, Axis Renewables, and Sargent Electric Company. Please join me in giving them all a round of applause. Lastly, I just want to acknowledge every single one of you in the room. time is so special these days, and it just means a lot that you've taken the time to be here today to help contribute to the conversation, help ask very good questions, and really just lead the conversation to a productive tone that will help us all advance everything that we are trying to do and accomplish in energy and climate today. So thank you all for being here. So with that, I'd like to introduce the director of the Scott Institute, Costa Samaras, who will be giving you a few remarks about this year's theme, Reinventing the Grid for Our Electrified Future. So in addition to being the director of the Scott Institute, Costa Samaras is the trustee professor of civil and environmental engineering. His research focuses on the pathways to clean, climate-safe, equitable, and secure energy and infrastructure systems. From 2021 to 2024, he took a short leave from Carnegie Mellon to serve in the White House Office of Science and Technology Policy, OSTP, as the Principal Assistant Director for Energy, the OSTP Chief Advisor for Energy Policy, and then finally the OSTP Chief Advisor for the Energy Transition. Costa, we're very thankful that you came back, and we're very thankful for your leadership at the Scott Institute. So please join me in giving Costa a round of applause.
Well, thanks very much, Daniel, for that kind introduction, and thanks to all of you. We're really grateful to have you here on this third day of Energy Week. There we go. I'm so excited of the work that we're doing here at the Sky Institute, which is really at the center of energy innovation, energy and climate solutions, energy entrepreneurship, and energy community. We're really grateful to get to work with you all during Energy Week, but also every day of the year to build the type of community here in Pittsburgh, in the region, and nationally. I want to again echo Daniel's deep thanks to you all, but especially to Daniel and our staff at the Sky Institute who have been working tirelessly, not just this week, but for many months to deliver the type of event that we are excited about for this week. I want to talk a little bit about why the theme of this year's event is reinventing the grid for our electrified future. So many of y'all might know what this is behind me on the screen. About 100 years ago, the United States built the Hoover Dam in Nevada. The Hoover Dam has a power capacity when full of 2 gigawatts, 2,000 megawatts. So you'll hear a lot of numbers bouncing around today about megawatts or gigawatts. Whenever you hear 1 gigawatt, it's half a Hoover Dam. Whenever you hear 2 gigawatts, it's a Hoover Dam. Our data center campuses that are growing for AI right now can be 1 gigawatt, 2 gigawatts, even higher, 3 or 4 gigawatts. So we need to understand and meet this moment of scale with innovation and with community and with engineering and with policy. Because what we do in the next 10 years is going to affect not just how we react to this current moment of AI, but it's how we react to our growing need for electrification, the growing needs of energy security, energy resilience, and affordability. Right now, electricity prices are already growing faster than inflation. The way that we build out this grid right now will be what folks are looking at over many decades to say, how did we meet the moment, like folks met the moment in the 1930s with hydroelectric power. So AI has the potential to accelerate clean energy innovation and energy security, but it won't happen on its own. It requires focused partnerships, policy, and innovation that we can work together on. Now, you'll see a lot of discussions today about the potential growth of electricity needed to meet this moment. And we at Carnegie Mellon, we work a lot on projections and uncertainty and characterizing what those uncertainties look like. No matter how much bigger the grid will need to be, we know it will need to be bigger. It also will need to be smarter and more efficient. So we at Carnegie Mellon are ready to work with you all to meet this important moment. Because the timelines of innovation often move faster than the timelines of physical infrastructure, we need to make sure that number one, that our grid stability is maintained and our folks that need to rely on electricity for health and life safety are protected. We also need to make sure that our communities that are facing new risks of new pollution and challenges with water feel ownership and partnership in this new transition. And then finally, we need to make sure that we enable AI and the broader innovations across the economy to be good for everybody. Now, in this moment of deployment, I don't want us to take our eyes off of innovation. Innovation is always going to be a good investment. On the left here is the technology readiness levels that we commonly think of in the government or in industry. And a whole bunch of technologies that we need for the future are not yet demonstrated. We at Carnegie Mellon have made a big investment in automated science. That's our lab up on the upper right. And we are ready to meet this moment to flatten the timeline between discovery, invention, demonstration, deployment, and adoption. So what you'll hear for the rest of the day at Energy Week today, we're going to hear panels and discussions from leaders and innovators and policymakers around growing the grid. We're going to hear about increasing reliability and resilience. We're also going to hear about security and powering AI and building out an electro-tech infrastructure that is resilient. And then finally, we're going to hear about keeping energy affordable. And we're going to have several keynotes along the way that will give us the high-level perspective of national leaders in energy that you would expect here at CMU. So with that, I want to introduce our first keynote speaker. Lou Martinez Sancho is back at Carnegie Mellon from Westinghouse. And Westinghouse has been a longtime leader in energy innovation here in Pittsburgh, and really the kind of the birth of electricity technology and the grid starts here, has roots here in Pittsburgh, very much including Westinghouse. We're very fortunate to have Westinghouse as a leader in this region and to have Lou Martinez Sancho here as our keynote speaker.